Knots in action. Hope you've been practicing your knots and getting ready for this adventure. Today we're going to put them in practical application. We're going to set a ridge line, we're going to set a tarp, and a couple other things. So it's going to be a couple of series. So stay tuned. Let's get started. Today we're going to put the taut line hitch as the beginning knot for a ridge line. So I'm going to come around the tree, get a working end, lay over the top, reach inside, wrap it around, pull tight. Reach around, pull it, do it again on the inside, pull tight. Lay over the top, pull back toward those two bites, and adjust the knot. Go ahead and snug it down and get it nice and dressed. So it should look like knuckle, knuckle, finger, knuckle. So now this is attached to the tree. I can pull on it and it's not going to go anywhere. Now an alternative knot is called the Clove hitch, and it's a good attachment point for a ridge line as well. So I'll go ahead and tie that right here while I'm here. So we lay the rope across, creating the X, reach all the way around. You're going to need a good amount of working rope there. So you got the X, bring the tag in through the middle of the X, dress up the knot, keep everything nice and snug and neat, put tension on it, and now when you pull it, it locks itself in and it's not going to let go. So now we're going to go to the other end. We're at the other end of the rope. So right now what we're going to do is go ahead and put in a trucker's hitch. So very easily, take your rope, spin it over the top. You want to take the section that's going toward the tree, feed it back through the knot, and that creates your loop. Now you go ahead and wrap around the tree. Go ahead and pull tension. Pull your tag in through the loop and pull back toward the tree. This will tighten your ridge line. Go ahead and pinch. Put in a slippery hitch to secure it. And now you have a tight ridge line. Very simple to use. Now some people will even go so far to put another hitch in just on top, just to make sure that it's secure and doesn't pop loose. So very simple. So you have Clove hitch at the other end. On this end you have your trucker's hitch, cinch through, slippery hitch, and you got your ridge line. 2-3 minutes. Okay, now that we have our ridge line set up, now it's time to attach the tarp. Now some people will lay the tarp over the top of the rope. Some will hang it from underneath. And I'm going to show you both ways. So it's your preference, whatever works for you, and they'll have their advantages and disadvantages. So just play with it and enjoy that aspect. So you take the tarp, stretch it out over the line. So I've already got it's sitting on top of the line. I'm going to use a Prusik to make the attachment. And to do so, remember, you take the rope, stretch the ring out, wrap the rope around the inside once, twice, 3 times, and dress your knot as you cinch it down. So that's what your knot should look like. Now, I take the other end and I feed it through the grommet to attach the tarp. Now you can use a tent stake or you can use just a stick. I just, sticks everywhere in the woods, so I put a stick in as my toggle and then I cinch it down. So now that it's on there, I can adjust, but once that pulls, it's not going to go anywhere. And when I do the same thing at the other end, I can string and tighten this tarp as much as possible. So using the Prusik is going to be adjustable, and it allows you to slide the tarp back and forth to center it over the area you're trying to keep dry. So if you have a hammock and you have a certain set for your hammock, you set your hammock up, and then as you put your ridge line up, you're able to slide the tarp back and forth to make sure you center the tarp over the hammock so it stays absolutely bone dry. The ridge line is now set above the tarp instead of underneath. We're still using the Prusik and the toggle system to keep the tarp pitch, and as you can see, it still does the same thing. So for me personally, if I'm going to use the ridge line, I want the ridge line underneath. And the main reason why I want it underneath is so I can use several Prusiks on the ridge line on the inside under the tarp, where I can hang gear, flashlights, things of that nature. So it gives you quite a bit of flexibility. Now that we have the tarp strung out on the ridge line, all we have to do is now pull out the corners and stake them down. Now the ropes attaching the corners, you have several different options. You can come in through the grommet and tie a taut line hitch, which would be absolutely perfect to do. The other option is to take your rope, tie, get you about 6 inches, tie an overhand loop, create, overhand knot, creating a loop. Feed the loop through the grommet, all thumbs today, sorry. Feed the loop through the grommet, then feed the tag into the rope, through the loop, creating a Larks head, and that pulls on the tarp. So now all you have to do is just stake out your 4 corners. Now that you have the 4 corners staked out, basically you have a quick shelter. It's kind of low slung. This setup is for foul weather, down low. Gives you plenty of room inside to stay dry. And of course, the lower the pitch, the more protected you are against rain. The higher the pitch, the more airflow, the air movement, but more chance of getting getting damp. So as you can see, the knots that we've been practicing being put to use become very useful in stringing tarps. Now we're going to be doing different tarp configurations, so we'll be looking at the knots as we set up different tarp setups. So in the future, just kind of hang tight. We're going to have more use of these knots. Like I say, I use them all the time. So get practiced, be proficient, and then play with it. Go buy a cheap tarp from Lowe's or Home Depot or Harbor Freight. Start stringing it up in your backyard. Spend a couple of nights in the backyard under your tarp. You'll enjoy it. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.